Okay, boom. And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have a magnificent guest with us today, one who is going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration. And that is none other than our brother out of the Bay Area, the Yay area, none other than brother Alonzo. Muhammad,
Yes, sir.
assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam.
Brother Alonzo, this means a lot to myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast that you would take time out of your busy schedule to have a conversation with us.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you,
For
brother.
those who don't know, we've had the honor of interviewing one of his sons, Brother Najim, and he did a great job on the podcast. So make sure we all go back and watch that as well.
That's
The
right.
first, the first question that we have for you, sir, is when did you first hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Brother, I heard the teachings through hip hop music. So I go back to the early 1990s with our big brother Cam
Okay, okay.
out of Compton. He was, to me, he's more significant now than he was back then because he was the first mainstream. He was the first brother from the NOI that went mainstream. So I don't know if your viewing audience knows anything about Yo MTV Raps, but this was like a video show that came on Friday nights after midnight. But he was featured, his video played on Yo MTV Raps. His videos played on Yo MTV Raps. So that pulled me into the orbit of the Nation of Islam. And what actually did it for me is when I saw Minister Farrakhan on C-SPAN. I don't even think we got C-SPAN anymore, but it's this news channel, right? Cable channel. And the minister, they had his message at the Jacob Javits Convention Center in New York. I believe that was his first man's only meeting. And I remember sitting down as a teenager, 14, 15 years old, and I was just mesmerized because everything that the minister said, it made sense on why our communities were in the condition that they were in at that time. So at that time, the crack epidemic was still, it was still destroying our community, early 90s. So it's a very significant turning point in the history of our people. It's very significant that era, and also that era could be considered the golden era of hip hop. So so and I can define that. That's when hip hop was more creative. That's when it was conscious. That's when it was inspiring. So yes, sir.
Beautiful. So I get it. So you hate all new rap. Got it.
Oh, no, sir. No, sir. No, sir. I don't hate on new rap.
I'm just messing with you, bro.
I feel like as long as it's creative and it's uplifting, I'm good with it. And I've never been in the rap that was like too preachy, so I love Public Enemy. We had Paris in the Bay Area. This wasn't really, I love Public Enemy, but I just wasn't, the preachy type of hip hop wasn't what I was into. So, I was into De La Soul. My favorite rap group of all time is A Tribe Called Quest. I was mesmerized by Rakim when he first hit the scene in the late 80s. Came out with that video, I Ain't No Joke. That's classic hip hop. So, but little did I know that Rakim was part of the 5% Nation. Little did I know, but I was mesmerized with our brother. So yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So you're saying that you were on a world tour with Muhammad, your man, is what I'm thinking.
Right. That's right. That's right. That's
Yes,
right.
sir. Okay, well, you sing. I didn't know that the Jacob Javits Center, the men's only, these things would be highlighted on C-SPAN. I didn't know any of this. When you saw this as a young man, what did that do for you to see a men's only meeting? And I've never heard of that, and since then I've still never heard of that. So for you to experience that, how important is that for the new generation to have someone call if there was in 2024 men's only meetings everywhere? How impactful would that be?
It was unorthodox
Mm,
for the minister to do what he was doing at that time. And it was uncommon. And that message that he gave at the Jacob Javits Convention Center was when he announced that he wanted to take 1 million black men to Washington. He did not know himself. He said it himself that he didn't plan on saying it. He said that
mm,
it came out of his mouth, and he said he couldn't take it back, but he was inspired of Allah to say what he said, and Allah blessed him to make that a reality, for us. So yes, sir.
beautiful, yes, sir. Now, how did your family and friends feel about you being inspired by this word, and then how did they feel once you accepted?
Well, my mother's side of the family, they really didn't have anything to say about it.
Mm,
My mother side of the family is the more educated side of the family,
mm.
college graduates, et cetera, et cetera. But
Yes,
my
sir. Yes,
father's
sir.
side of the family, um, that's the gangster side of my family. So, um, um, my father, he was all for it. He actually came to my first mosque meeting. He came to the first mosque meeting with me, my first mosque meeting. He attended it with me, and I was in the city of Richmond, a little small little city when they used to have a mosque out there, Richmond, California, mosque number 72, under
Mm,
the dynamic leadership of Minister Charles Muhammad, may Allah be pleased with him,
mm,
um, who was my mentor.
mm.
And he really helped me along in the early days of my Islam. I mean, it was difficult for me, man. Because we come into the nation thinking that everything is gonna be perfect,
Yes.
you know, and also if you don't know, your success also depends on how you relate to those in authority over you. So
In
so
fact,
me, I was constantly clashing with my captains,
mm, mm,
um,
mm.
with my lieutenants, and um, it it is what it is, because we're not perfect, and sometimes, we in the nation, we can we can do things a particular way, but that doesn't necessarily make it right, or the best way to do things to
Mm.
get the best result. So sometimes we don't have enough tact and people skills when we're dealing with those that are under our authority. So, but now, you know, I mean, I learned the lesson. I get along fine with those in authority over me, and I'm part of the ministry class. Uh,
Okay, okay, go
I'm
ahead.
helping my local student minister help the minister.
Mm,
And matter of fact, I just got off the rostrum. I had to open up the meeting. I had a I had a little topic my student minister gave me. I had to speak on, and then I had to close out the meeting and hurry
mm.
back home so I can get on your wonderful show, brother. So all praise is
Praise
due to
the
Allah.
Lord. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, great. Well, let's stay right there. With you in the ministry class, what advice would you give to others? Some people, they said, according to the Google searches of the number one fear, death is number two, public speaking is number one. What would you say to people who want to learn how to get over that fear of public speaking?
Well, if you're slated to speak anywhere, over prepare. And when you do that, that'll take some of the stress of public speaking off of you. Because I've had to go to the rostrum and I wasn't prepared, and I swear I was stumbling, I was stuttering, I mean, it didn't feel good, but I learned a valuable lesson. So now, you know, whenever I have to speak, brother, I write out what I'm going to say word for word. That's the way the minister did it in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
He said he would write out his lectures word for word. He would, and then he would go over it. He would take something out, put something back in. So that's what I do. And then I read what I wrote out loud to make sure it flows properly.
Mm.
So, but just like the lessons say, the minister's class must study and prepare themselves for examination as soon as they're able to. So, the more you prepare, the better. And I mean, you're still going to be nervous. Even student minister Ishmael, the national assistant of the minister said he still gets nervous. So
Yes, sir.
I don't think it's going to necessarily go away, per se. There should be some anxiety there because you're speaking to the people of God. Um, and so, say a little prayer before you go up there. It is what it is. Ask Allah to take that fear and that anxiety out of you, and get busy, do your thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Beautiful. And thank you, everyone. Thank you for your testimony and transparency. And thank you, everyone who was watching. Walaikum salam, Sister Miriam. And thank you to our YouTube family as well, Brother Musa, Sister Auntie, Brother Kente, Brother Daniel E., all of the people who show love on YouTube all of the time. Thank you very much. I wanted to ask you, one of the greatest running backs of all time went to USC out in the West Coast. And during the time period that you were referring to was leading up to the Million Man March was the O.J. Simpson trial, referring to O.J. Simpson.
I
What was that?
remember.
Yes, sir. How did that trial, what was that like being in the Oakland area? How did that affect you personally?
Um, I mean, I don't think it really affected me like personally. I mean, it was just I don't think it affected me personally, but I know it set the stage for the Million Man March.
Yes, sir.
And if it serves me correct, they um they charged our brother civilly, right? After the fact, right?
Correct.
He got off and then they came back and the brother was found guilty through a civil trial.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, I mean that's typical white America for you. I mean racist white America. That's all that is. So it didn't surprise me,
Mm.
you it didn't surprise me though.
Okay, great. Yes, sir. Now, following up to that, we want a chronological order. The Million Man March. As a very young man, how did that personally, what was the climate like, and how did it personally affect you?
If I can recall the climate, um, culturally, that would be still considered the golden age of hip hop.
Mm.
So our consciousness was peaking. And it's interesting because the minister talked about how we went down after the Million Man March. So what led into it, our consciousness was peaking. You could the message in hip hop, the consciousness was steadily peaking. Um, and so I mean, that's all I can remember for the most part. I mean, I was
Mm.
a young man, newly registered in the nation. I got registered in 94 February.
Mm.
I can't remember the exact day, but I know that 2 weeks after I got registered, I physically met Minister Louis Farrakhan on the Arsenio Hall Show, which
Okay,
was
let's get into it.
unexpected. Yeah, that was unexpected. And I met him. I wasn't suited and booted because we got a special emergency call that we had to go to Paramount Studios because there was some white folks or Jews out there protesting um, at Paramount Studios that the minister was going to. They were upset that he was going to be on the Arsenio Hall show, so they were
Mm.
cutting up, you know, and so we were told to go there. And next thing I know, my captain he gets us into Paramount Studios. And next thing I know, we're in the Arsenio Hall show. I'm just like, man, he told me go sit anywhere where you sit anywhere you like, and I sat right in the front, and I saw our student supreme captain. I was like, yeah, the minister's here. And the show got on the road, and I physically met the minister and had a few words with him after the show was recorded.
Beautiful. All praise to Allah. Can you let us know what was that? What was it like meeting him, especially at the Aresenio Hall? That has to be legendary.
It was I mean, I was nervous naturally, because the minister, he radiates. It's no other man on the planet that radiates like the minister. It's in his, you could see it in his face. But I was very nervous, and I shook his hand, and I said, I never thought I would meet a man of God. And he said, brother, you're a man of God. And that was it. And I swear, brother, I haven't met the minister physically ever since.
Mm.
It was just that one interaction, and that was it. And that's fine with me, it's fine with me. But yeah, praise be to Allah.
Oh, praise
Many of us haven't physically met the minister.
That's
ever.
what I was gonna say. That's
We've
what I
been
was
in
gonna
the
say.
station for years upon years, and we've never physically met the minister. But I got a privilege to meet our beloved ministers. All praise due to Allah.
Beautiful. Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Alonzo, for this magnificent history. Can you let us know who the captain was at that time that you said your captain let you in?
Brother Chris.
Yes, sir.
Ahmed. He's in Phoenix right now. Yeah, he remembers me.
Yes, sir. One of my one of our favorite guests to have on the People's Podcast. Shout out to Captain Chris. Very
Yes,
kind man, very serious and intense brother, and someone who I always told him since I was a junior FY to now, anytime, even though he's kind, there's always another energy that's with him as well. It's like, all right.
That's
all
right.
right,
That's Brother Captain Chris, though.
Yeah. We get it. We know what kind of energy, just in case. We know that you one of those. Praise be to Allah. That's good. Right. In the ranks. Okay. So now fast forward past the Million Man March. In your sojourn in the nation, have you ever been faced with fear? And if so, how have you overcome that fear?
Definitely. I mean, I've been out in the field, and I've had, some crazy people just get at me. What I mean by out in the field, out selling the Final Call newspaper. I remember I was on 73rd and East 14th. They call it International now, but that part of Oakland would be considered like Black Bottom Detroit. That's like the equivalent. And I had this crazy brother, man, step to me. I had a straight tie on, and just out of nowhere, the brother just grabs my tie. I'm like, and I knock his hand down. I'm like, brother, what is your problem? And I had another brother push it with me, brother Ali Muhammad. Okay. He's in Inland Empire.
Yes, sir.
He's helping out with the ministry there. He's one of our student ministers.
Yes,
but he
sir.
comes running over like, brother, you all right? I said, yeah, this brother grabbed my damn tie. And the brother just stepped back, and he said something like some crazy stuff, and he just walked away. But I've had some physical confrontations, and all I can say is, like the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, I can't promise you that you won't get a bloody nose following me. So it just comes with the territory. And I've had another crazy brother threaten my life, a brother that I was actually I was bringing him to the mosque, and the brother just turned on me, and he started threatening my life, And the brother even came by my house one time, and I had to chase him away. So, but the brother, he he has some mental issues, and the brother just turned on me. So I mean, it just goes with the territory. You know, a lot of our people, there's a lot of people out there on the streets that are mentally disturbed, you know, that need to be taking a medication or need to be on medication. But it's you know, that's just the reality. So it's a lot of mental illness out there.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Yes, sir. Okay. Well, I asked you off camera, and I want to ask you on camera. The way people know, like the gay area, Oakland, San Francisco, all of these areas, this is like rap music from as far back as your time period to, you know, Ant Banks to now Larry June, or, you know, all these the new artists, you know, things like this. But it's always like this crime, you know, it's like, you know what I'm saying? And what makes you stay in, you know, the crime areas all these years if it's according, you know, I mean, according to rap music, according to movies and stuff, you know what I'm saying? This is like, man, don't play with around Oakland. You know what it is. The Raiders, as someone who's a fan of the Raiders and all of that, before they moved to Vegas, had some of the wildest fans in the world. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what makes you stay in Oakland all these years?
Well, I mean, first of all, we're like one of the only mosques in Northern California. I mean, and I've always been an active member um, in the mosque. So, so Oakland, there's a lot of generational dysfunction, and there's a lot of poverty.
Mm.
And as you know, we've lost all of our professional teams. You know, the A's are leaving. They're you know, they're leaving. We lost the Warriors. The Warriors play in San Francisco at the
Yes,
Chase.
sir.
They don't play in Oakland anymore. We lost the Raiders. Now it's the Las Vegas Raiders. So there's very little investment or none at all in the Black community, especially the part that I'm from, that I hail from, which could be considered like Black Bottom Detroit.
Mm.
Is really, they neglect that part of Oakland. It's like it don't even exist, you know, or it's not even a part of Oakland. So it's a lot of homelessness on the streets, um, you know, drug addiction, um, is just, it's bad, you know, it's really bad. But like I said, it's been neglected, unfortunately. But you know, recently this Black business group, they bought the Coliseum, and they plan on putting up all this affordable housing,
Okay,
um,
okay.
et cetera, et cetera. It's like a $5 billion project, and they said that they're going to start building this in like 10 years. But I'm like, 10 years, that's a long time. Like, you know, I mean, we need this now, you know, but it is what it is. So, but yeah, Oakland is a very unique city. Um, Very unique city.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Okay, great. We have some more questions for our brother Alonzo, out of Oakland, California. We have a brief 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast. We are grateful for every like, share, and subscription. Thank you to each and every People's Podcast affiliate. Thank you for every anonymous Cash App. And we're coming right back to our brother. One moment. And thank you again, Alonzo. You're doing a great job, sir.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah.
And we are live with the People's Podcast. Street Premier Media Production. He has a 4K camera and a drone. He does television and film editing. Please reach out if you need any of that. Sister Naima, Stay On Point Dance Academy. She teaches ballet virtually to young girls all across the country. Sister Miriam, ABC I Love Me children's book and coloring book. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ. My two books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book, and No Father, No Excuse, both of which are available on Amazon. And we are live. Right, there we go. Perfect. All right. And Brother Alonzo, while we get started, I wanted to let everyone know that every time I've had the honor of meeting you, you've been very kind and a very genuine brother. So I just wanted to, make sure that's on the record.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you, brother. So have you, brother.
Praise be to
Yes,
Allah.
sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, so I wanted to ask you, um, in the ministry, how do you, when you're teaching and you're preparing, coming from, like you said, the 90s and the 5%, that was very influential in the rap music and hip hop. So was the teachers of Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as taught by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. But dealing with Master Fard Muhammad, how do you all handle that in a ministry class like in LA? Is that a heavy, deep subject that you have to speak on a lot, or is it more because of the music and everything, as people already been prepped in Oakland for that subject?
I mean, I know when I I have to teach, I have to get up on the rostrum and teach. I don't touch that subject.
Okay,
Um,
okay, okay, okay.
but it's important for us to understand and be able to defend it. And I think the quote that stays out of my mind as it relates to Master Fard Muhammad that the minister has said is that when he's referring to the supreme being a man,
Yes,
he
sir.
says that the only thing that separates us from the supreme being is that he's supreme in knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and power.
Yes, sir.
And also the fact that we believe that he's not the creator of the heavens and the earth, and that the supreme being is like a rotating seat.
Yes, sir.
We don't believe in the spook God, so um and that's just, that's our teaching on Master Fard Muhammad, like in a nutshell. So, and that's all I would like to say about that, my brother.
Yes, sir. I understand. I just wanted to know about it because that's some the ministers have been coming on, and students in the ministry class have been coming on, and they saying like this is what being brought to them, and this is how they. So I just want to give you the opportunity.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. I understand.
Okay, yes, sir. My next question for you is Black Muslim Bakery. So every time I interview people from Oakland, they always keep speaking about how there was a Black Muslim bakery and a Muslim family, and they were in the community, things of that nature, and how that played an impact of the Oakland area and seeing people do for self. What is your interactions with the Black Muslim bakery?
It it was the Black Muslim Baker was very instrumental um in just giving us that picture of what Black Muslims, look like. Um, because they represented that, the Nation of Islam, um, but at the same time, they didn't fall under the structure of the Nation of Islam. And but at the same time, I remember Dr. Yusuf Bey, may Allah be pleased with our brother. If you were looking for the nation and you thought that was the nation, he would shoot you to the mosque. He didn't have a problem with that, you know, and which says a lot about our brother. And I know a lot of his children,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
and they are really good brothers and sisters. Matter of fact, a number of them were at the mosque uh, this morning, this afternoon with us. And so the fruit don't fall too far from the tree.
That's right.
Um, and like I said, they're really good brothers and sisters. But it's on to me, he played a necessary role in establishing the Nation of Islam in the city of Oakland, in the Bay Area. I mean, I feel like it was something that was needed, even though he didn't fall under the structure of the nation. Um, and so it's because I even worked at the bakery at one time.
Okay. Okay.
Worked at the Black Muslim Bakery. Um, and eventually I was approached by somebody that knew my father's side of the family, not too far away from where I stayed at. And this brother, and I could never thank Allah enough for my brother Kali. He's out of I don't know if he's still in Atlanta, but that brother fished me into the mosque.
Okay, brother Khalid.
He fished me into the mosque. I'm his fish, but he stepped to me. I was was walking down International, 83rd, about to jump on the bus, and I had a final call stuck in my back pocket. And the brother called him, and he was like, brother, come here. Um, so I talked to the brother, and he invited me out to the Richmond Mosque, and that was it. That was it for me. So praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. Shout out to Brother Khalid, his family, his
That's
children,
right. That's
very
right.
close. And shout out to Dr. Yusuf Bey, who I've had the honor of meeting many occasions, and of course know his children and grandchildren as well. And man, they are like family. So shout out to Black Muslim Bakers, all of that good stuff. Many of them have been on the People's Podcast. All right, so
Oh,
yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So we love hearing the Oakland history. My next question for you, sir, is what has been your greatest trial in life, and how have you overcome that trial?
Uh, that's a good question. I think my greatest trial in life is um just waiting on the reward for faithful service, because I've been registered a little over 30 years, and it's just been a struggle. you know the nation has been sanctioned, so some of us, you know I mean, maybe all of us, we on some type of blacklist,
I'm
by
familiar.
the US government. Make no mistake about it, it's real. So, and then also, one thing I noticed about some of us, we kind of hide out our identity on social media, Um, and I'm not trying to put anybody down, but we don't necessarily want the world know. We don't necessarily want the world to know that we're with the minister, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that that's good for us. Um, but we're trying to get what we can get out of this world, and I understand. We have to survive. Um, but we shouldn't hide who we are and the fact that we're with the minister. So, I mean, whatever comes along, I mean, whatever price we have to pay, that's the price that we have to pay, you know. Um, and we have to be willing to pay that price. I mean, the minister been paying the price for over 68 years. So has his family. They still paying the price. So, you know, yeah.
Excellent, beautiful, yes, sir. Wonderful teacher. Go ahead, Brother Alonzo. I can tell you in the student ministry.
Uh,
Your greatest joy in life, sir.
my greatest joy in life is to have um it's two things. I've reproduced myself in the nation. So
Mm.
Allah has blessed me to make converts to the minister. Um, Matter of fact, there are at least two brothers that are in the mosque right now, active, um, who are registered members. Um, and actually, one of them is married to one of the bays,
Mm.
Brother Daniel. Yeah,
Okay,
that's my
okay, okay.
fish. Yeah, you may know him. But Allah has blessed me to make maybe at least 7 to 8 converts to the minister. Um, some have left the city. Um, Allah has blessed me to make converts when I was in high school, as a registered Muslim. So I thank Allah for that. And then also my greatest joy is my two beautiful sons. My
Yes, sir.
youngest is a registered member. Um, my oldest, we're on great terms. He's not registered per se,
Mhm.
but like I told him, I'm like, the most important thing, son, is that you live a righteous life. Um, and you love your people, you love yourself. And I told my sons, since your mama is black, you marry a black woman. So I mean, that's kind of
Okay.
off the subject, but love yourself. You
Yes,
know what
sir.
I mean? We need more black babies around here. We got a lot of mixed babies, brother, especially in the Bay Area. It's a lot of swirling going on, brother.
Yes,
So
sir. Well, it's can we say right there? What do you think is the cause of that? Is that proximity? Is that what's going on in the Bay Area for that to be the specific point that you made about there? Like, what is it? The music, the movie, the info. Like, what do you see on TV? Like, what is that?
I think it's all rooted in just the toxic relationship that that the culture has produced between us and the black woman.
Mm, mm,
Um,
mm.
and also the fact that she's been hurt so many times by us. She may not have been hurt by us per se, but she's been hurt by the black man time and time again. Um, and then also, we as men, we've had some bad experiences with our sisters,
That's right.
that have been damaged, some through sexual abuse, um, I mean, physical abuse or both. And it's a hell of a thing when when you can you end up being with a woman, that that's been hurt like that. And you could be a really good brother, Um, but she can become a trouble source. It don't matter how good of a brother you are, you know what I mean? So if she doesn't deal with that trauma, we have tools for that, you
That's
know.
right.
Um, then like I said, she can become a trouble source for you, and also for the children that she produces for you. So yeah,
Powerful. Yes, sir. You're teaching excellent per usual, Brother Alonzo.
praise
Wonderful.
the Lord.
Yes, sir. Now, Brother Alonzo, with that, what advice do you give to the single brothers and sisters and I mean humanity, but primarily black people and primarily in the nation of Islam, who see this as a reality? We're analytical. Islam is mathematics. Mathematics is Islam. So we're seeing the divorce, the toxicity, the breakup, blah, 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 boom, boom, boom. And then, what advice do you give to people who to still get married in that climate under these circumstances?
Well, never give up on marriage. Um, because it's the cornerstone of our nation. We can't have a righteous and a strong nation without the institution of marriage. And don't give up on your brothers and your sisters, just
Mm,
I mean, it's just we have to, if you have interest in somebody, you just got to really get to know them, you know. Take your time to get to know the person. Um, and if we're following the laws that we have been given, then we can fail fast if we have to. This ain't the right person, you can just step away, quickly, and continue your search. But um, we just have to really be mindful that we don't let this westernized culture creep in to how we are supposed to relate to one another and
mm.
how we go after the the institution of marriage or being married. It's like the minute that creeps in, it's gonna be trouble. So we can't deviate. And it's really easy to deviate with the opposite sex. It's real easy. This culture promotes it. But we have our own culture in the nation, and we have to embrace that, and we have to stick to it. To the letter. I mean, so that we can be successful, in our marriages. Um, so we can be successful in seeking out that person that we desire to marry. So, yes, sir.
Excellent advice. All praise due to Allah. Wonderful. Yes, sir. And thank you everyone who is watching. Now, as you keep saying the golden age. I'm gonna let you get it past with that. You know,
Golden Age, yes, sir.
you're my seniors. I'm gonna respect you. Out of respect, I'm gonna let you keep getting away with saying that your time period is the golden age. I think the golden age is the from 99 to like 2009. I think that's the best era. Period. It's
Yes,
not even
sir.
it's close
That's
in hip hop.
fine, brother. Golden
I,
Age.
I didn't think it's close, but okay. But we'll let you have it. I can name Eminem, Kanye West, 50 Cent. I mean, just so much was coming out. I mean, it was a lot going on through the 99 to 2009. However, can you name your favorite hip hop album of all time?
Um, Midnight Marauders by Tribe
Mm,
Called Quest.
okay.
So you know that slap from song one all the way to the end, brother. I mean, it's just I saw Tribe Called Quest perform at at Rock the Bells like in
Mm,
2009 at the Mountain View Amphitheater. And this is when Fife was still alive.
okay. Yes,
I
sir.
mean, they ripped it, man. That was just the greatest one of the greatest performances I've ever seen.
Mm,
Um, and you know what's interesting is that many of the movies that they're coming out today, they feature music from that era. And I mean, and they wasn't getting no type of rotation, radio rotation, you know, back then. But you find it on movies like the Transformers, the new Transformers
yes,
movie,
sir. Yes, sir.
Teenage
Yes,
Mutant
sir.
Ninja Turtles. You know what I mean? Um, I mean, it's just like you never would have thought, you know, that you would hear that music in this time today, which shows that um that music that they made during the golden era is really timeless. You
Yes, sir.
know,
Yes,
it
sir.
has a serious shelf life. You know, anything that doesn't have a shelf life it lacks creativity. You
Mm,
know, it lacks inspiration. Um, and you know, so like the golden era, that's what they made, you know, during that time. And you know, I thank Allah for the golden era. But you know, there would be no golden era if the minister wasn't doing the work that he was doing in our communities.
that's right. That's right.
You know, he just plain and simple. You know,
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, we got to give credit where credit is due. We got to give credit where credit is due. So,
That's a fact. And I just want to say that's a first that we heard Tribe Called Quest is the best hip hop album of all time. That's why I'm serious. So that's why I enjoy doing people's podcasts. We learn it. So now I gotta
yes,
go
sir.
listen to it to be like, okay, you just put us on. Everybody who's watching, let's make sure we go listen to it. Because that's why I love learning about new music. When I think of Oakland, I think of Ant Banks because one of my older like the OGs who I went to school with, he always talk about Ant Banks, Ant Banks, Ant Banks, E40. That's what we knew. That's all we knew. Ant Banks, E40.
And
Uh,
Banks. Yeah,
but,
yeah, yeah, yeah. He
but
was
for
down with
me,
Short.
but for
Down with
me,
Short.
exactly. But for me, MC Hammer, I don't know how people go. Nobody ever says MC Hammer. I'm like, yo, what?
Well, Hammer, the thing about MC Hammer was, you know, it was just the mainstream, you know, acceptance and the shift that he made. Like I believe that I think I heard somebody say that he was the first rapper that got mainstream acceptance.
Mm,
It
mm.
was MC Hammer. And that, you know, that equated to him making a lot of money,
Yes, sir.
you know. And you had a lot of rappers out there just hating on Hammer because of that fact, because he was getting more paper than anybody. But
Absolutely.
it was directly connected to that shift to the mainstream, you know, because you know, Hammer, he didn't start off so mainstream. Hammer was hard when he started off, you
Yes,
know.
sir.
Like
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
go find those what's that one of Hammer's first videos, you know, where he's like in a troop sweatsuit, right? And it's, you know, it's like the video is a little grainy, right?
Yes, sir.
Um, you know, he had his female dancers but you know, Hammer was hard, man, in the
Yes,
very
sir.
beginning. Um, but you know, he drifted over to the mainstream and and I think we stopped respecting them for that, you know. So yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I understand. Well, if anybody's connected to MC Hammer, I really want to interview him. So just throwing it out there to all the Oakland people, kind of get the interview with MC Hammer because I really, man, let's get it started. I was like, like MC Hammer, like he's as a performer, he's talking about on stage and then with he helping the community. I stay out of that, but whatever. Like you said, if I say Oakland, people gonna say, "What's your favorite word?" Too short. You know what I'm saying? So they just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gonna say blow the whistle, so it just is what it is. I understand. All right, Brother Alonzo, what would you like your legacy to be, sir?
My legacy, um, that's a good question. I don't think anybody has ever asked me that question. Well, most importantly, I just want to make sure that I use all my gifts, skills, and talents to help the minister get the job done, you know, and that's the resurrection, you know, of our people in America and throughout the world. So just, you know, putting my skills to work, whatever it may be, you know, for our people, um, for our total liberation. So, I mean, that's a big goal, but that's what I want to be remembered as a brother that gave his all to help the minister, you know, because he's well deserving of it, because he gave his all and he's still giving his all, you know, and so is his family. So, yes, sir.
All praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. And on that positive note, I want to thank you again, Brother Alonzo,
Thank
and
you.
publicly, inshallah, if you ever come to Atlanta or the next, major event, we got to break bread. And I had to just go over. You've taught us today. I just want to introduce you to some of the albums from 1999, 2000. I just want to give you a chance. I just want to, offer you some of the albums. Just like, man, maybe you never heard these albums. So I just want to give you a chance to, understand about DMX's prime, the 4 album run that DMX had, which you've never seen. Like, I just want to give you a chance of that era too. So,
Yes, sir. Yes,
so
sir.
yeah,
I'm
so we
open,
got to.
brother. I'm open.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, I really want to go. I gotta find a way out there. I've never been to Oakland, so I gotta find a way out there. But inshallah, I'll always tap in with you and
Please
just
do. We'd
break
love to
bread.
have you, my brother.
Yes, sir. May Allah continue to bless you, the believers, your family. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum,
Thank you,
sir.
brother. Walaikum salam.
Thank you all for watching. Can't wait to upload to YouTube.